My sister got the house. $500,000. Beautiful Victorian on a hill in Black Mountain, North Carolina. She got the jewelry, $85,000. The investment accounts. The life insurance. Everything, over $1 million. All of it. Going to one daughter. And me? My mother left me a cardboard box. Taped shut. Black Sharpie on top, MISC. My sister Natalie didn't even look at me when they read my name. She leaned back, crossed her legs, and laughed. Loud and sharp. Some people just aren't meant for nice things, she said, loud enough for the whole room. I was already reaching for the door. That's when the attorney cleared his throat. There is, however, a codicil. My name is Lucille. I'm 34 years old, and what happened next is only the beginning of what my mother had been quietly planning for the last 6 months of her life. I've been the unworthy daughter my entire life. Not in subtle ways, in obvious, documented ways. Natalie's high school graduation, country club party. 150 people, catered. Mine, Olive Garden. Mom spent most of dinner on her phone. Natalie wanted to be a lawyer. Mom paid $228,000 for her education, undergrad and law school combined. I wanted to study art. Mom said that was nice, but impractical. I went to Appalachian State on loans. $23,000. Still paying it off at 34. My dad understood me. He painted landscapes on weekends, sold them at craft fairs for $40 each. Mom called it a hobby. He called it breathing. When he died, I was 16. I became the reminder of what she didn't want to be. I built a life I liked anyway. I teach art at Black Mountain High School. $43,000 a year, small apartment, student artwork on every wall. Natalie built the life Mom wanted. Corporate attorney. $890,000 house. Tesla. $185,000 a year. When people asked about me, Mom said, Lucille teaches high school art. The pause before art said everything. Then, Mom got sick. March 2024. A minor stroke. She gave Natalie power of attorney. Made sense, Natalie was the lawyer, the competent one. I offered to help. Natalie said Mom had it handled. I offered to visit. Natalie said Mom needed rest. I offered to bring groceries, anything. Natalie said she'd hired people. I saw my mother 3 times in the last 8 months of her life. The final visit, December 20th. Mom in bed. Oxygen tube. Skin paper thin. I sat with her 10 minutes. She looked at me like she was trying to remember my name. Lucille, I'm tired. Natalie appeared in the doorway. Mom needs rest. Maybe space the visits out more. I left. I didn't know that was the last time I'd see her conscious. Mom died January 15th. At the funeral, someone asked if I was family. I said I was the daughter. They looked confused. Oh, I thought Natalie was the only one. That's when I knew I'd been erased while still alive. February 10th. 2 p.m. Wolf & Associates, downtown Asheville. Natalie, charcoal suit, diamond studs, perfect low bun. Already seated. Already expecting to win. I stood near the door, purse strap on my shoulder, ready to leave. The attorney read in the careful voice lawyers use when delivering bad news. To Natalie, the house, $520,000. To Natalie, the jewelry, $85,000. To Natalie, all investments, $380,000. To Natalie, life insurance, $150,000. $1 million. Natalie didn't react. She'd been expecting every word. Then the attorney turned the page. To my daughter Lucille Brennan, I leave 1 cardboard box. Contents marked miscellaneous. Silence. Then Natalie laughed. Some people just aren't meant for nice things. Mom knew who could handle an inheritance and who couldn't. My face burned. I reached for the door. Wait, Miss Brennan. The attorney was flipping through papers. Brow creased. There's a codicil. Filed with the probate court February 1st. Dated January 12th, 2026. He looked up. 72 hours before your mother's death. The room went cold. That's impossible. Natalie said. Mom was on morphine, barely conscious. It's notarized. 2 witnesses. Filed by Patricia Harding, attorney at law, Raleigh. He read aloud. All distributions to Natalie Brennan are suspended pending resolution of legal proceedings initiated November 20th, 2025, regarding financial exploitation, forgery, and abuse of power of attorney. Connor dropped Natalie's hand. What? The attorney kept reading. The Codicil alleges you forged your mother's signature on property sale documents. That you transferred proceeds to a personal LLC. That you refinanced her home without authorization, taking $180,000 in equity. I was managing her estate. Upon Mrs. Brennan's death, the court seal lifts automatically. All evidence becomes public record. He looked at Natalie. Including 14 video recordings, 27 documents reviewed by a handwriting expert, and a full deposition from your mother taken November 28th, 2025. November 28th. Mom had been alive. Alert enough to give full testimony. While Natalie had told me she was too confused for visitors. Lucille must have manipulated her. The attorney looked at the file. Lucille had 3 contacts with your mother over 18 months. 3 phone calls. Total, 21 minutes. No in-person visits after December 20th. He looked at Natalie. She couldn't have exerted undue influence from 30 miles away with 21 minutes of contact. Natalie went white. The attorney handed me a business card. Patricia Harding. And then, the box. Natalie stared at me. What did you do? Nothing, Natalie. You made sure of that. On top of the box, MISC in black Sharpie. Underneath, very faint, 4L. She had labeled it for me. I drove home shaking. Set the box on my kitchen table. Part of me was terrified to open it. What if the codicil was a mistake, and this box was the real answer? That even at the end I was worth miscellaneous items. But, 4L. I peeled the tape, lifted the flaps. The smell hit me first. Lavender, Mom's perfume. She'd sprayed the inside of the box. I started crying before I saw anything inside. Top layer, a white envelope. Read first. Mom's handwriting. Beneath it, a leather journal. A USB drive. 2 folders. Lucille, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry for so many things. But especially for this. I made you feel worthless. You weren't. You never were. Natalie stole from me. But I let her. Because I thought love meant letting people take. You taught me different. You never took. You just gave. Open the journal. Then the USB. Then you'll understand. The codicil is insurance. The box is proof. The lawsuit is justice. Mom. The journal was 73 pages. Mom's last 6 months. July 14th, I think Natalie is lying about the Brookstone sale. July 29th, called the buyer directly. He paid $320,000. Natalie showed me documents saying $280,000. Where did $40,000 go? August 10th, found a bank statement in the trash. NB Holdings LLC. I don't have an LLC. Natalie does. October 3rd, hired a private investigator. Ron Mitchell. I told him to find everything. October 3rd, Brookstone sold September 15th. My signature on the deed. I never signed that document. I was in the hospital that day. Natalie forged it. November 1st, contacted Patricia Harding. She specializes in elder abuse. I'm filing suit. Not for the money, for the truth. December 10th, Natalie thinks I'm confused. I let her think that. Easier to gather evidence when they think you're weak. Last entry. January 11th. 4 days before she died. I'm ready. Lucille will doubt herself. She'll think this is too good to be true. Tell her it's real. Tell her she earned it by being who she is. I love you, Lucille. I should have said it more. I plugged in the USB that night. Video 1, June, 2024. Mom's kitchen. Phone propped on something. Natalie on a call. Back to the camera. No, she won't notice. I'll just adjust the numbers. She can barely read her statements. Pause. It's technically my inheritance. I'm just getting it early. She laughed. In the corner of the frame, Mom's oxygen tank. She had been in her bedroom, filming through the doorway, while Natalie thought she was sleeping. Video 2, September 2024. The notary didn't question it. I've practiced her signature enough that it looks perfect. By video 7, I was crying. By video 14, I was furious. The documents folder had 27 forged deeds, each with a handwriting expert's report underneath. Forgery. Confidence level 99.3%. And beneath those, one more file that made me laugh despite everything. Practice signatures. A whole sheet of Natalie's handwriting. Helen Brennan. Helen Brennan. Helen Brennan. Each one getting closer. She had sat in her law office and practiced forging our dying mother's name for months. Then, the last file. Mom_final_message.mp4. Mom on screen. Oxygen tube. Hair thin. But her eyes, clear. Lucille. If you're watching this, I'm gone. I'm sorry for making you feel small. She took a breath. Natalie stole from me. But I stole from you first. I stole your confidence, your belief that you mattered. I'm making it right now. She reached toward the camera, hand shaking. You are better than me. I built a business. You build people. I measured success in dollars. You measure it in difference made. Be the person I wasn't. The video ended. The last folder was labeled Mountain Trust Holdings, LLC Formation Papers, Member Helen Marie Brennan, Designated Beneficiary upon death, Lucille Brennan. Assets, Brookstone Apartments, purchased October 2025. Price, $335,000. Riverside Duplex, purchased December 2025. Price, $215,000. I stared at the screen. Natalie sold Brookstone for $320,000 September. Mom bought it back for $335,000 in October. Natalie sold Riverside for $200,000 in November. Mom bought it back for $215,000 in December. She paid more than Natalie received. Market rate. Through an LLC Natalie never checked. And now those properties were mine. I started laughing. Half laugh, half sob. Natalie thought she'd won. She'd stolen $520,000. Spent it on her Tesla, her mortgage, her image. But the properties she'd sold, they were back. And I owned assets worth more than she'd stolen. My mother, dying on oxygen, barely able to walk to the bathroom, had executed a financial checkmate while Natalie thought she was too confused to notice. February 14th, 8:30 a.m. A knock at my door. Natalie. No heels, just Nikes. Hair in a ponytail. Mascara smudged. I let her in. She stood in my tiny kitchen, looking at the student artwork, the thrift store furniture, the life she'd dismissed as beneath her. Mom was on morphine. She didn't know what she was signing. Mom filed the lawsuit in November, 5 months before the morphine. She was confused even then. 3 doctors certified her competent. I opened my laptop. Videos can't be faked. Her own voice filled the room. No, she won't notice. I'll just adjust the numbers. Stop. Natalie's voice was different now. I closed the laptop. 14 videos. 27 forged documents. Handwriting analysis proving every forgery. The bar already has the file. Your license is under review as of yesterday. She sat down heavily. Connor's going to leave me. Connor already suspects. My firm will fire me. They'll have to. What do you want? Money? I can borrow. I don't want your money. Then what? I want you to understand what you did. She stood up, angry now. I took care of her. I was there. You weren't. You didn't visit, didn't call. You told me she didn't want visitors. She was sick. You isolated her so she couldn't tell anyone what you were doing. You forged her signature 27 times while she was dying. And when she caught you, you told her she was confused. Her face crumpled. I was going to pay it back. You can't. The properties aren't yours anymore. I pulled up Mountain Trust Holdings. The deeds. My name on the beneficiary line. You sold them. Mom bought them back. They're mine now. The money you stole is spent. The properties you sold, they came home. She sat back slowly. I'll lose everything, she whispered. I know. She looked at me, really looked, maybe for the first time. She walked to the door, stopped. I said some people aren't meant for nice things. Her voice barely audible. I was wrong. You were meant for them. I wasn't. She left. I locked the door and leaned against it. It was done. The weeks after moved fast. Bar complaint filed. Natalie's firm, indefinite leave. Connor, legal separation. Bank, foreclosure. Tesla, repossessed. March 4th, the judge ruled. Power of attorney revoked. Natalie removed as executor. Case referred to the DA for criminal investigation. Gavel down. March 15th, I moved into 142 Laurel Creek Road. Mom's reading chair was still in the sunroom. I sat in it. It fit perfectly. One afternoon, reorganizing the box, I noticed uneven weight in the bottom. I pressed it. It gave. A false bottom. One more envelope. Red wax seal. Dated January 14th, 2026, the day before Mom died. If you're reading this, you won. Not because you're ruthless like Natalie, because you're honest. I failed you. I gave Natalie money. I gave you criticism. I thought that would make you stronger. It just made you doubt yourself. You are better than me. You always were. I built hardware stores. You build people. I closed deals. You open hearts. Don't sell this house. Fill it with students. With art. With light I kept closed off. I love you. I should have said it every day. I'm sorry I saved it for the end, but I'm saying it now. I love you, Lucille. You are always enough. Mom. There was a smudge on always enough. A tear stain. Mom crying as she wrote. I folded the letter. Put it in my wallet, where I carry it every day. Because I finally had what I'd wanted my whole life. Not a house, not money, not justice. Proof that I mattered. April came. The dogwoods bloomed. 12 students showed up for the first art session. Some couldn't afford supplies. Some just needed somewhere to belong. Kids like I'd been. The house filled with voices and paint and laughter. I saw Natalie once after the hearing. Harris Teeter parking lot. 2009 Corolla. No Tesla. No heels. Just a woman in a worn jacket loading groceries. She saw me. Froze. I just nodded. She nodded back. We both left. Some chasms can't be bridged. But the war was over. One evening I stood in the sunroom. Mountains blue in the distance. Student paintings drying on the walls. I let myself feel something I hadn't allowed in 34 years. Enough. I was enough. I always had been. It just took a cardboard box marked MISC and a mother's final plan for me to believe it. Before you go, have you ever felt like the one your family kept in the background? Like someone else always mattered more? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if someone needs to hear this today, please share it. Subscribe for new stories every week. I'll see you in the next one.